Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome back to Coaching Conversations. I'm Maria Sapio.
And I'm Lourdes Laper. Thanks so much for joining us. And be sure to watch to the end for some practical practices you can start using right away. Today's topic is something deeply powerful, honoring the greatest power both in the universe and within ourselves.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that everything and everyone are part of this huge interconnected system, but also that inside us is a guiding force, the same kind of power that moves the stars.
Yeah, so if you're feeling out of alignment, disconnected, or unsure of your purpose, this episode is for you. We'll talk about how tuning into that inner power helps you live with more clarity and peace.
Yeah, so many people come to us feeling overwhelmed or fragmented, like their thoughts, emotions, and actions aren't in sync, and they feel like their life is chaotic because of this, like they're being pulled in different directions. And it's hard to make decisions or find peace when your inner parts aren't working together, where we're, being pulled in, as I said, multiple directions, because parts of us have different goals. Part of us wants to have fun, and the other part of us wants to finish the project that's due next week at work.
So this disconnection can lead to stress, anxiety, and a loss of meaning. And you might wonder, who am I really? What's guiding me? And that's where Marcus Aurelius's insight hits home. He says we all have this greatest power inside us, like the universe's power, but on a personal scale. And the challenge is to honor it and get everything in sync.
So I bet you're wondering, what's this greatest power, right? So Marcus Aurelius talks about, um, it's a part that we describe as reason, will, our soul, or simply that inner wisdom that we have guiding us, our North Star sometimes, the part of you that coordinates your thoughts, your feelings, and your choices. And psychology talks about this as that self leadership or integration that we have, bringing harmony between those different parts of us that are tearing us into different parts or different directions. So you act intentionally and authentically.
And neurologically, this is linked to the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center. And when this area is strong and balanced, you can regulate emotions, make decisions, and stay focused on your values. And that's why honoring this power means strengthening your inner voice and trusting yourself. It's like being the conductor of your own orchestra instead of a confused or befuddled player.
Yeah, I just, there's so many times that as I was walking out the door, something in my mind said, hey, bring the umbrella, or grab this or grab that. And I would go, no, I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to need it. And then sure enough, later on, I needed it, or someone else needed it, or someone asked me about it. And it just happened so many different times where I ignored my inner wisdom and took a wrong turn or something, or did something that wasn't beneficial for me. And I think that now I really try to focus on, if I have that inkling, I try to listen to it, because it it saves me many, many, many times. How about you, Lou?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I can remember so many times that I had this like gut feeling, this inner
Yeah.
wisdom that was like, oh no, do this, don't do that, or don't do that, just don't do that. And I went ahead and I did it. And it was just like a hot mess. and completely avoidable, but definitely took my bumps and bruises along the way in this not listening to my inner wisdom. And for anyone listening who feels like, oh, I don't have that, it's a skill that you can cultivate, right? That cultivating that inner wisdom, that being able to not only hear it but to heed it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that it's the difference between being a poor stock trader and a good stock trader. Listening to that insight that you have, that inkling, no, the market is taking a turn here, or my timing is I don't want to get in too early on this trade, or even in playing, games. You have that intuition. I mean, I've often had it playing poker, and I listen to it now. So it is really a guidance that we can use, and that really leads us back to that universal connection. We're part of something bigger. And Marcus Aurelius reminds us that this personal power is the same as the universal power that governs everything: the stars, the seasons, the flow of life. And it helps us to see ourselves as part of a bigger whole, connected and meaningful. I think that Viktor Frankl puts this really beautifully. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose.
Yeah, and that's really such a profound quote, because it's oftentimes when we don't feel like we have meaning and purpose, we feel like a leaf in the wind, and we're just pulled this way and that way, and we're just not, we can't stay on track because we don't have that inner compass, right?
Hmm.
And so when you tap into that universal power within you, it gives your life direction. You become not just a passenger, but an active participant in the flow. And that connection reduces loneliness, confusion, and doubt. It reminds you that your life has value and purpose, and it's aligned with the cosmos.
I think that sometimes we hear things like this and we think, oh, that's a bunch of BS. But really, I was with having dinner with someone who's extremely successful, and he was telling us about a serendipitous moment where he met his future employer, and that led him to his great success. And he met him at a baseball game, sitting next to him, and it just, it was something he didn't plan for. He didn't contrive to meet this person, didn't even know who this person was, but that led to his career and his greatest success. So there are people that have these moments, and it isn't a lot of BS. There are people that experience this and truly have the gratitude that it merits. But how do we bring this to a daily practice, right? Let me just guide you through this. So, how do we honor and strengthen this power, right? With our a simple daily practice. First thing is through that self-awareness, noticing your thoughts, your feelings, and choices without any judgment. Just spend 5 minutes each morning or every evening. Check in with that inner state. Notice your thoughts and feelings. And then next, setting the intention based on your values, those deeper principles that reflect who you want to be. You can write that down, write down one core value or intention you want to embody that day. When you set a goal, when you set an intention, your mind begins to focus, your reticular activating system is triggered, and you will see opportunity that you didn't see before by doing this, by setting an intention.
Mm. Yeah. It's like when something comes up in conversation, like red Hondas or something, and then
Right.
all of a sudden that's all you see on the road: red Honda, another red Honda, another red Honda. Now, getting back to the daily practice, integrate your different parts, right? Accepting your emotions, your strengths, your challenges, and bringing them together in harmony. So when you feel scattered, take a mindful breath and reconnect with your body and your values. And practicing presence, staying connected to yourself in the moment so you respond rather than react. And also take time to reflect each evening on moments when you felt aligned and notice, make note of what helped you get there.
Yeah, these steps they help you live with more clarity, peace, and purpose, and aligned with that universal force that Marcus Aurelius talks about. So remember, honoring your inner power is a practice, like tuning an instrument. It takes consistent care.
So we'll leave you with this from Ralph Waldo Emerson: what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. You have that power inside. It's waiting for you to honor and lead with it.
Yeah, I mean, just, what have you felt truly aligned with your inner power? Share your experience with us and, keep nurturing your inner strength. Thanks for being here. We're walking this path right alongside you, and we want you to take care of your mind and, support our work by liking, following, subscribing. And if you want a personalized uh, session or a consult, you can book that. You can find the link in the description. We'll see you next time.